This is huge for the Toronto Blue Jays as they pull off an absolutely massive game against the Kansas City Royals. And following the trade deadline and losing yesterday's game, they come out today and not only send a very important message, but they did something that they absolutely had to, following what has been a pretty brutal stretch of games as of late. We're going to break down this game and discuss what it means going forward, as well as a few other injury updates, folks, as yet another injury has happened in this game. But before we get it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. We're on the road to the big goal of 20,000 subscribers. You guys are an absolute beast with the support. So you want to help us continue towards that goal, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Folks, a much needed win today for the Toronto Blue Jays. Coming into this game, they've lost, a lot of their games lately. They even lost the game yesterday. And luckily, like I mentioned in the video earlier this morning, the Yankees lost yesterday. But the Jays had to come out here and get back in winning ways. Yes, the lineup is depleted. Yes, Alejandro Kirk, George Springer, all these guys are out. They need to win games. It doesn't matter, no excuse. And they come out today and they do exactly that. And as of the time of recording, not to jinx it, the Yankees are losing. Of course, that'll depend on how that game finishes. But a very interesting game today. You're going up against Cameron, a lefty on the Royals, a young pitcher who's very, very good. And of course, they stacked the lineup with righties today. No Dalton Varsho. You had, Tyler Heineman in there. He ultimately came out of the game. But let's dive into the game today. Davis Schneider, obviously, with the bloop single that put them up by 2. And that was really the hit of the game. We'll dive back into that in a little bit. Nathan Lucas came in as a defensive replacement. Ernie Clement, 1 for 4, got a huge single, and he's been getting under a lot of balls lately. A lot of the balls he's hitting just fly to the outfield, not really non-competitive at bats. It was great to see him get a leverage hit where it actually it's a high leverage hit. He gets an RBI and ultimately does exactly what he needs to do. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Nothing special today, 0 for 3 with a walk. Of course, Bichette, he was the star of the show today in general. Got a clutch RBI, a single, 3 hits, and he is approaching a 300 batting average. His OPS is getting up there, folks. It's almost 800. He is a very, very, very good player. And of course, we're at the point now where, they need him to be 790 OPS, I believe it is right now. They need him to be that good. And ultimately, he's starting to get there. And again, the difference between the Jays winning out by a lot, winning games, going on win streaks, is ultimately Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bichette and the starting pitching staff. Berger, nothing really today. Ty France hit a lot of balls hard, ultimately ended with 1 hit. And that's the biggest kind of thing here is how Ty France is going to do. And then, of course, you have Ali Sanchez coming in for Tyler Heineman, who got removed with a head contusion. Could be another concussion, symptom, which, the Jays don't really have many catchers right now. So that's obviously unfortunate. But let's dive into what this game means. Obviously, they're fighting in the game a little bit. Their offense is still struggling a bit. You get a bloop single from Davis Schneider with drives in 2, which was an absolutely huge hit, and it all on the back of Miles Straw's bunt single. But Tyler Heineman getting a huge jump off of the bloop single from Davis Schneider to put them up 2. The Jays team, they're known for comeback wins. They're known for all these things. They need to get leads more because they always come back, and that's not insanely sustainable. They get the lead today, and of course, then the bullpen took over. And let's dive into some of those starting pitchers because, man, what a day it was. Max Scherzer turning back the clock. He was the star of the show again today. And the biggest kryptonite, and his kryptonite has been the home run ball. This season, almost most of his outings, if you look at him collectively, there's been 1 inning where he blew up. And by blew up, I mean really 1 hit. It was a home run. Nothing tonight, but last time the 3-run home run, time before I think 3-run home run. And that's why his ERA is a bit inflated. If you look at Max Scherzer's advanced analytics, you look at Max Scherzer's everything, he's a very, very good pitcher, even at 41. And it doesn't seem that his thumb is bothering him. He came out following his last start saying that his thumb was feeling good today, up to 84 pitches, no problem. And he got removed because of the fact that, they just, that was a normal bullpen decision. You're not going to throw him back out there for the 7th. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. Got out of a big jam there in one of the innings, striking out Bobby Witt and then getting a pop-up to not allow a man to score. I am obviously gave up 1 home run, but it is to Sal Perez. But that's fine, right? 6 innings, 1 run. He is almost, and there's a lot of people talking about it, almost playing himself in a playoff start with his the electricity he has, how good he is. And a big thing with Max Scherzer, and the Jays are filled with veteran pitchers, he knows how to pitch out of clutch situations. And he has a man on third with 1 out. You get out of the inning without giving up a run. A man on first and third, 1 out, actually, with Bobby Witt up there, and you get out of the inning without giving up a run. You always throw the right pitch. And then, of course, the bullpen comes in. Brendan Little gives up a run, gives up a double, then gives up a bunt, and then, of course, an infield, whatever it was. Randall Grichuk moved him over with a ground ball, and then they did the safety squeeze, and they drove in a run home, Kansas City. But then you have Sir Anthony Dominguez, who is unbelievable, quite frankly. His ERA now down to 3 on the dot. He has looked unreal since joining the Jays. I believe that's now 3 1/3 innings with 0 hits and 0 runs given up, which This is why Ross Atkins went out and got these, relievers. Jeff Hoffman, fantastic clean inning. Again, he's been a bit up and down. He's really good in save situations. Maybe John Schneider can stop using him in non-save situations because that seems to be the only time he blows up. And ultimately, they have the guys to do so now. Being able to have a bullpen of Sir Anthony Dominguez, Yoriel Rodriguez, so they didn't even have to use today, who they can now use tomorrow. And Sir Anthony's probably available tomorrow as well. You'll have Louis Verland available tomorrow. If you can get Jimmy Garcia back, all these different guys, you have so many options in that bullpen. And they've always had options, but high leverage options are the difference here. And that's what the Toronto Blue Jays have done today. And man, is it exciting to see the way that this team has been. And you look at Max Scherzer's last 4 starts, 24 innings, 18 hits, 2 walks, 28 Ks with a 3.75 ERA. And again, a lot of those have been, the home run ball that has caused the earned run average to inflate a little bit. A fantastic whip because a lot of his hits aren't, coming in high quantities. A 0.83 whip is incredible. Doesn't walk a lot of guys, only 2 walks. So obviously you limit your walks, you limit your hits. Yes, you're giving up the big long ball. 10.5 Ks per 9. Like we're seeing, not prime Max Scherzer by any means, but he's turning back the clock a little bit here. And if we can get Shane Bieber back in action shortly, you have a chance to have a really elite, starting pitching staff, especially heading into the postseason, assuming the Jays get there. I'm loving it. I'm loving every bit of it. And this team has been scuffling. Every team goes through, cold streaks. The Dodgers lost 9 of 11 recently. The Red Sox had a brutal start for a while. The Yankees lost. Yankees lost yesterday. Made me feel way better about myself and the Jays lost. But on the bad side, real quick here, Tyler Heineman, he was removed from today's game with a head contusion. And all signs point to Alejandro Kirk playing in tomorrow's game. He was the DH today for the AAA Buffalo Bison. So we assume that you assume that he's going to be probably playing tomorrow, especially now that, Ali Sanchez had to come in the game, did get a single. So that's obviously really good news. But at the same time, it's they don't have a ton of catchers. I guess their backup catcher right now, in that recent game was technically Dalton Varsho. I don't think they want to play him as backup catcher, even though he played catcher when he came up out of the minors and for the Diamondbacks for a while. I think it's Ernie Clement. They're either going to have to call up that new catcher they acquire for Will Wagner, or most likely, again, Kirk is going to be available. Then it'll be a Kirk and Ali Sanchez, go, assuming that, he gets placed on the concussion protocol, which is 7 days. Jays have been getting really unlucky. Think about all the injuries. Anthony Santander, Jimmy Garcia, Nick Sandlin, all these different guys. Eric Swanson earlier on in the year before he got DFA'd. They're doing all of this with, and Dalton Varsho's been out. They get the Varsho coming back, or the Varsho is back. You have Shane Bieber, I guess, returning to action for a big league club, and now it'll be the Blue Jays. Jimmy Garcia hopefully returning soon. All these different guys, Alejandro Kirk, George Springer not being in the lineup again. Just find a way to hover, get all these guys back, and then make a deep run. We're now, only a month and a bit left of baseball, a month and a half of regular season baseball until the postseason is there, and every game feels electric. Max Scherzer pitching in August is not something I really had on my bingo card. He's been dominant. This team has been dominant, and man, oh man, what a game for the Toronto Blue Jays, folks. That'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this. Things are getting crazy. Buck Martinez, in case you missed it yesterday, is returning to the booth on Tuesday against the Dodgers. Big series coming up against the Rockies after this one. But let's take care of business, win the series, and finish it off tomorrow. Folks, it is a crazy time to be a Jays fan. That's what we dream for, watching each meaningful baseball game. Hopefully you're all enjoying. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. You guys are beasts.